Before Isiah Leggett, Maryland's largest county had never before elected an African-American executive. Initially, he says, he didn't want to run. I'm MCM reporter Doug Tallman. I sat down with County Executive Leggett as he prepares to leave office after 3 successful terms. He told me what changed his mind.
Your decision to run for office in the first place.
Yeah.
That must have been a brave step.
It was, because I really was not interested in running for public office. I had helped form an organization at the time to urge minorities and others to run and to support people who would support a broader community and more inclusive community in Montgomery County. And after forming the organization with the desire of getting candidates to run for office, we had targeted someone to run for county council at large. No one would run. Everyone looked at the political landscape and said, this is too challenging. There's no way in Montgomery County we're prepared to elect the minority, an African American. At the time, I think the African American population was about 6%. The Asian community was about 3%, Latinos about 3 or 4%. And it was a challenge. You know, I said to people, if you took those numbers and quadrupled them, and had the former mayor of Chicago, daily counting the votes for you, you weren't going to win. And so my view was that we needed to get someone to do it, and everyone turned around and said, well, you're the more ideal candidate. Look at your background, your experiences, your leadership. I chaired at the time the County's Human Relations Commission. You should run for the office. And because I couldn't get anyone else to do it, and I thought it was so important that we break that barrier, I decided to run. But not certain that the community would be receptive, because at the time we had never elected a person of color to any political position. Not to the General Assembly, not to the county council, county executive, courthouse. None of those positions had ever been elected by any person of color in the county. And so I decided to do so. But we came up with a strategy, because the fear was that people would immediately reject an African American running and not get to credentials, not get to position on issues, not really fully vet that candidate. And so for 6 months, there was no photograph on the campaign literature. It was just Ike Leggett, everything about Ike Leggett, positions, background, experiences, but no photograph. Did that for 6 months. 6 months did we do that. And to my surprise and delight, we won, and won handedly. And now that's a reflection, I think, not so much about me per se. I think it's a reflection of the very kind, generous, and supportive people in Montgomery County, and the fair people of this county, who said we're going to overlook race, we're going to look at leadership, responsiveness, responsibility, and we're going to elect this guy. And we won. And 7 at-large races later, we continue to do very well in the county. But that's how I got started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But with the exception of Craig Rice, there hasn't been another, Valerie Irvin and Craig Rice. African-American representation on the council hasn't been at least proportionate.
But not only that, other than myself, there's still no other person of color who's run a countywide race, mm-hmm. of any color. Countywide, mm-hmm. even with those two are in districts. But countywide, hopefully this time that will change, but countywide, there still is only been one person countywide to run an election mm-hmm. of any color. That's myself, and that's unfortunate. And we have to change that.
Stay connected to your community with MCM. Watch the entire Leggett Legacy series on mymcmedia.org.